Getting information about community services just got easier. United Way of Escambia County has worked for the past 4 years to develop the funding and support needed to convert First Call for Help to 211. The free, confidential, easy-to-remember number is now a reality. Here to tell us what this means for residents of Escambia County is 211 Director Rita Icenogle with United Way of Escambia County. Rita, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, 211 is really, really exciting, but before we get into that, I just would like to say thank you for everything that the United Way does and has done over all the years for our community. Just such a great organization, and we value your support and what you've done for the Council on Aging. So take that back to the office and tell everyone we said thank you.
I will do so. Thank you.
Great job. Well, now, 211. What is 211?
Heck, 211 is simply a 3-digit telephone number that makes it easy to dial for information and referral. And in Escambia County, that's going to take over for the number 595-5905 that's so familiar for us.
So like people are used to 411 for information about a telephone number,
yes,
or 911 for emergency information. 211 is the equivalent to find out information about human services. Is that correct?
You said that better than I did. Great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my next question is how all this happened. Now, I know this is a very long story, so let's get the short version because you have worked very, very hard and done a tremendous job.
Absolutely.
What was the process to go from First Call for Help to 211?
Actually, the 211 number, as you would imagine, is making that conversion was no easy task.
Correct.
The 211 number is a national number, so we had to obtain not only national approval, but state approval in order to utilize that phone number. That required everything from upgrading equipment and materials to staff certification. We're working on accreditation. There's a very significant process to doing that because we are converting to a 24-hour operation.
Okay. Well, that brings me to my next question. Now, I'm sure that's one of the differences. What is the difference for the residents' perspective of First Call for Help and what was available to now the 211 and what it offers? How do they compare and contrast?
The greatest difference, really the two primary things. One is it's easier to dial, so you can dial 3 digits. But the second one is that we're 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. That does make it available to the entire community.
Sure.
That's in essence it.
A lot of people are working during the day or just don't have time, and to have that extra hours and to have that easily remembered number available is huge. Well, tell us about some of the information that's available, like what is some of the most common questions you get, and then what are some things that y'all know about that maybe people don't know to ask about?
I'm glad you've asked that question because the average individual that contacts our office, and we're talking about 50% or so of the 41,000 callers that we had last year, will be asking about basic needs, food, shelter, referrals to assistance for rent, other housing, particular needs, etc. But many people are not aware that we are also responding to calls through the Early Learning Coalition's contract that we have to help with child care assistance. So if the individual, and in this case maybe a grandparent, is looking for child care, they can call our number, the 211 number, and we have child care specialists that can actually answer questions about redirecting them to child care, to identifying what is the best location for them, perhaps the hours of operation, etc. So that's just one example of something unusual that we're doing.
So people shouldn't really think, well, this is probably not an area they get into. They should go ahead and call, right?
Absolutely.
So those very basic things, and then as well as some of these other things, and they don't know where to go, 211 is there.
They might even be asking, who's my county commissioner? So every day is a new day. We're always ready for new questions.
And those days are fun.
Yes, they are.
Interesting, but fun. Well, you mentioned call volume and things. What are your expectations for 211 with the 24-hour component, and how have you had to adjust for that?
Currently, we're seeing a call volume of about 41,000 calls this last year. We are told that 211s across the nation, and 85% of the nation, by the way, is 211. So we have lots of people to look back on for experience.
That's great.
Across the nation, they expected an increase of about 40%. Now, I'm not really expecting that much. It'll probably be closer to 20%. Primarily because we already have a fairly high market saturation for our community. So.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the logistics versus the theory and what it is. For example, is there a fee for the call?
Absolutely not. It's free to the public, and that is supported, by the way, by many of the entities here in this community. City of Pensacola, Escambia County, United Way, of course, supports it heavily, and contracts to provide other direct answering or response services. So the community is supporting this, yes.
Great, great. So it's a free call, not to worry about that.
Free call.
What about cell phones? Most people have cell phones. Some have even gotten rid of a fixed home telephone. Does this work equally for a fixed line and a cell phone?
It will at some moment in time. Currently, all landlines should be very functional. The cell phone companies independently have to repoint or reprogram their system, or translate it, they call it. And we have many cell phone companies in this community. So each one of those has to independently make that decision and do that technical work. Not everyone has made it yet, but we hope within days, maybe within weeks, we will be there. So if they're unsuccessful with the 211, they can certainly call the 595 number.
Okay. And what about languages? You mentioned large community, diverse community. What about languages that are available?
That's an exciting new addition that we've made just over the last few months. We now can translate in 150 languages.
Great.
And we have really used that, especially with Spanish, Vietnamese, German. We've had a variety.
Well, I know you've lived this project for a very, very long time, and you're very enthusiastic and very knowledgeable. I remember the first time you and I were speaking about this, you knew all the numbers and everything about it. But you're still enthused. So what excites you personally the most about 211 and bringing that to Escambia County?
I think I'd have to use your terminology. We came of age. We actually grew up from First Call for Help to 211. We are now functionally just like 85% of our state and our nation. There's just a few counties left in the Panhandle that are not 211, so we are there finally, and I'm just thrilled.
Well, great. Well, thank you again for all your work. I know you had some support from AT&T on this, and just lots of people have come together to make this happen. So
AT&T was a strong supporter, and we appreciate them.
Well, we're excited about it too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.